to.
You can call in sick.
I can't. The hospital is short-handed, and I'm lucky I don't have to work a double shift.
I don't believe my luck. I finally get back from Greece, and you're not even going to be here?
I know. I'm so sorry, but I will make it up to you tonight. We have a lot of catching up to do. I gotta go.
Oh, listen, can't you stay here a little while longer, and we can go to my room? Come on.
No, come on, that would be fun. We'll be in your room, and across the hall will be your mom and Neil playing Where's Waldo.
All right, well, we can go to your place.
We will. Tonight.
All right, listen, wait. If you decide that you can't wait until tonight, just tell the hospital that you quit, and I will be at your place inside of 15 minutes.
Hey.
Say it.
Okay, you won.
And?
Oh, you are the mighty Joe Scanlon.
Thank you.
What the hell is this notification of termination? Lance Pharmaceuticals thinks that they can just end my contract like that. I mean, you're crazy. What? No, we're supposed to be in this together. You people promised me a lawyer from the company would be there when I go face the review board. No, let me tell you something. You had better supply me with legal representation that is equivalent of Clarence Darrow, Johnny Cochran, and Perry Mason all rolled into one. Or I'm going to make sure that every pharmaceutical company on the planet has a copy of the DL56 formula. And I'll tell you what. Why don't you figure out what your market share will be then?
Hi. I'm Courtney Canellos. Dr. Joe Scanlon called about an hour ago to make an appointment for me. I just returned from Greece, and I was stung by a sea urchin there, and so he suggested I have some follow-up tests.
Okay. Your appointment was with Dr. Boardman, and he's been called away on an emergency consultation. But, you know, I can set you up with another doctor if you'd like.
Well, I'm already here. I'd like to get it over with.
Oh, sure. Okay. All right. Oh, Dr. Wexler, do you have time to see Miss Canellis?
Yeah. Sure.
Thanks, June.
Chris Ramsey.
Yeah?
Darren Leopold. I'll be representing you on behalf of Lance Pharmaceuticals.
What took you so long?
And let me start off by saying that the conversation you had with Mr. Porter at Lance was simply a misunderstanding.
Fine, apology accepted. What's your game plan?
Well, in reviewing the material, it's clear to me that you are not the party at fault. In fact, I plan to make the case that your efforts to find a cure should be considered heroic.
I like that case.
I thought you might.
But you're still gonna need a fall guy. Now that Lance isn't gonna hang me out to dry. And 2 people are dead, and I don't think people are gonna be satisfied with, oops, sorry as an explanation.
Yes, well, we're going to put the blame right where it belongs. On Frank Scanlon.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I do live here, remember?
Thought you'd be with Karen.
Just my luck. I get back from Greece, and Karen is on rotation.
Oh, goody. That means I get to spend the whole day with my precious widow brother who I miss so much.
Yeah, well, little brother thinks older brother's a couple cans short of a 6-pack.
Oh, I'm just so excited. Now I get to hear the whole story.
The whole story?
Yeah, the whole uncensored. Karen and Mom aren't anywhere around truth. about your stay on a deserted island with a curvaceous blonde who was dying to jump your bones before you left.
Oh, that story.
Yeah. Come on now, this is your brother asking. I want details.
All right, but you gotta promise not to tell anybody.
My lips are sealed.
No, I mean it, Frank.
Scout's honor.
Okay. Well, there we were, deserted on the island, soaking wet in our clothes, freezing to death, with only each other to keep us warm.
I get the picture.
One thing led to another. And before you can say unforeseen circumstances, we are doing it everywhere. On the rocks, on the beach, on the grass, in the plane, and the helicopter. Now, that was interesting.
Are you serious?
No,
You mean you didn't do anything?
nothing.
Not even just...
Nada, zip, zero.
Yeah, well, it could have happened.
But it didn't.
You know, like you would tell me if it did.
I would tell you, but nothing happened.
I'm sure it wasn't for lack of trying on Courtney's part.
Can I help it if I'm irresistible?
Yeah, right, yeah. Joe Casanova.
Frank, I have enough as it is on my plate between my job, Karen, and Neil. The last thing I need to do is convolute things by sleeping with Courtney.
I'm glad you found Neil.
Yeah, me too. But I gotta tell you, it was touch and go for a while. I mean, at one point, I thought Courtney and I were gonna end up in jail.
Then you could have been pen pals with Julie.
How is she?
She's going from bad to worse.
Sorry to hear that.
You know about the escape, don't you?
And just bits and pieces that Victor told me.
She tried to get me to help her. She told me she was pregnant.
She's not, is she?
No. She was just doing anything possible to get out of jail, and it worked.
So does Julie still think that she's Cooper's sister?
No. See, Garcia and I cornered Cooper and Julie in a tunnel underneath Stanton's old house, and Cooper thought it was over, and he tried to kill Julie, and that pretty much clued her into the fact that he'd been lying to her.
Well, it's better that the truth is out, right? I mean, as far as her getting better?
You know, I don't know if she'll ever get better, Joe. Now she's hallucinating conversations with her father.
Wow. So, what happens next?
The court psychiatrist doesn't think that she's going to be competent enough to stand trial, which is a good thing because it means she won't have a death sentence, only a lifetime in a psych ward.
Is there anything that I could do?
No, I don't think there's anything any of us can do.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Oh, I'm just taking the advice that you gave me after we first found out Julie was the killer. I'm getting on with my life, and I'm letting her get on with hers.
What changed?
I don't know, let's just say Julie and I reached a mutual agreement that it's better off for both of us if we just stay away from each other. And I want her to get the help she needs, but I'm not the guy to give it to her.
It's pretty tough to come to that conclusion, huh?
I'm fine.
Okay, I'm glad. So I heard you got the flu during the epidemic.
What else did you hear?
There's more?
Karen didn't tell you?
Tell me what?
Well, I guess it's better that you hear from me than somebody else.
Hear what?
Chris Ramsey and I are the ones responsible for the outbreak.
Responsible how?
I took some tainted medication and got sick.
What kind of medication?
DL-56.
Frank, when did you start taking DL-56 again?
I never got off it.
What do you mean that you never got off of DL-56, Frank? Karen, Julie, and I watched you around the clock through detox.
Ramsey got wind of my dependency, and he slipped into my room while none of you were looking, and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
What kind of offer?
He'd supply me the drug if I would let him run tests on me. He was trying to perfect it.
Why didn't you just tell me?
Because you would have tried to make me quit the drug, and I thought going off it would kill me.
Oh, God, this is just like Ramsey. I mean, to kick somebody when they're already down.
Believe me, no one has less respect for that scum bucket than I do. But I made the choice to stay on the drug, and I have got to cop to some of the responsibility.
How does this have anything to do with the flu outbreak?
Well, after running a bunch of tests, Ramsey said that my immune system on DL56 was in overdrive, and he thought maybe the drug would be effective in killing flu viruses.
So, a cure for the flu. So if DL56 could do that, Ramsey would make billions.
And that's what he thought, too. So to make a long story short, he mixed DL56 with normal flu viruses looking for a cure, and instead he created a super flu. And when he wasn't around, I took some of what I thought was just normal DL56 when he wasn't looking.
But it wasn't just normal DL56. I mean, this was medication with some super flu that maniac created.
Yeah, only it was about 100 times more virulent than the original strain.
Yeah, I know, Frank. 2 people died.
And I can't tell you how awful I feel about that.
How did Ramsey get his hands on the DL56 formula anyway?
Well, it turns out that he was working with Bennett Devlin on the slide before Devlin was killed.
That figures.
A match made in hell as far as I'm concerned. Chris is suspended pending review by a GH Ethics Committee.
Right, so that's it.
I hope so. As far as I'm concerned, the sooner everyone forgets about DL56, the better.
When I'm done with Frank Scanlon, people are going to think of him like they thought of Typhoid Mary.
DL56 Frank, huh?
Something like that, yeah.
Doesn't he also have a contract with Lance Pharmaceuticals?
Now, we can handle that. Don't worry about it.
I bet you can. You know, people are still going to associate DL56 with the super flu outbreak.
Which is why, after this whole thing blows over, the term DL56 will never be mentioned again.
And what do you plan on telling the GH board about me?
The truth. You were running a legitimate experiment testing the curative powers of DL56 on a virus when this drug-crazed lunatic broke into your laboratory and stole one of your samples.
But it wasn't exactly a break-in.
Well, the man went into your storage unit without your permission and stole your property. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You do the doctoring, I'll do the lawyering, all right?
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, you realized the experiment wasn't working, had the potential of becoming extremely dangerous. So what did you do? You took the necessary steps to destroy the samples. Well, of course, if Frank Scanlon hadn't been such a junky thief, this whole flu outbreak never would have happened.
Yeah, but they're going to say that I'm the one responsible for him being a junkie thief.
Bennett Devlin created Scanlon's dependency by performing an unauthorized experiment on him. An experiment that you were completely unaware of when you worked with Devlin. Now, once, of course, you discovered Frank Scanlon's condition, you felt a moral responsibility to keep the man alive.
And why exactly did I continue working with DL56 after Devlin's death and after Karen Wexler had pronounced the problems with the drug insurmountable?
Well, first off, you're not a quitter like Dr. Wexler. And second, you realized the potential benefits of this drug were so great that you had to continue the research.
Well, gee, Darren, don't forget to tell him what a great dancer I am, too.
Can you imagine what it would mean if DL56 had provided the cure to the flu? Lives saved, suffering relieved. Not to speak of millions upon millions of dollars generated by workers who would no longer miss that week or more of work every single year.
So basically, I was hoping to cure the sick and stimulate the gross national product all at once.
Yeah, that's what they're going to think when I'm finished with them. Provided this strategy meets with your approval, Dr. Ramsey?
Now, Darren, please, call me Chris.
Your foot looks good. No local infection.
Oh, good.
Is it tender?
Yeah, a little.
Well, that should go away. And let anybody know if it doesn't.
Okay.
What were you doing when you got stung?
I was walking along the shore. We had just finished building a raft and we were ready to set sail. And then, at the last minute, I remembered the Christmas tree Joe made, and I wanted to bring it along.
Joe made a Christmas tree?
To keep my spirits up. Being shipwrecked on a deserted island is not really the ideal way to spend the holidays.
I wouldn't think there'd be enough room in a raft for a Christmas tree.
Well, It was silly of me to want to bring it along. I know that. It had no practical value, but it meant a lot to me.
Sentimental value.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you were almost drowned getting there, and you were hungry, tired, cold, but you still wanted a souvenir of the place?
Well, what can I say? It wasn't all bad.
So it was the outbreaks and the deaths that finally made you quit?
No, not exactly.
So what did?
I didn't really make the decision to go off of it. I wish I could say I did. I wish I could tell you that I had a long talk with myself and I said, Frank, it's time to stand up and be a man, but that's not what happened. The truth is, I wouldn't be clean today if it wasn't for Karen.
What did she do?
Well, for starters, she told me what she wouldn't do, which was supply me with DL-56.
And you couldn't get it from Ramsey anymore because the GH brass was breathing down his neck.
Yeah, so I didn't have a choice. I had to get clean, and Karen helped me through the roughest part. She weaned me off gradually so I wouldn't have to go cold turkey.
And I assume she made sure your health was okay.
Yeah, she monitored my vitals, but she did more than that, Joe. She stuck by me through withdrawal. She gave me back my life. She's a terrific woman. You're a lucky guy.
I know. So you're okay now?
Physically, yeah, I'm okay.
But
Something has changed.
like, listen, I mean, that's only natural considering everything that you've been through.
Yeah, no. This is different. I'm not talking about a psychological change, although that's part of it. Taking this drug has made me different. I am not the same guy that I was 9 months ago when I took the header off the roof.
Frank, the most important thing is that you're off DL-56 and you are getting your life back together.
You're still here.
Yeah, I got something to eat in the cafeteria, and then I realized I left my gloves somewhere.
Oh, you did. I put them for you at the front desk.
Thank you.
And I got your test results back.
Oh, how'd I do?
Well, your CBC and SID rates are all normal. Everything's okay.
Oh, that's a relief.
We're very fortunate.
That's what the doctor in Greece said. A reaction as severe as mine is usually fatal. It's lucky for me, Joe was there.
It's lucky for you.
I know I couldn't have survived without him. He got me to the shore. He built a shelter. He started a fire. He found food. He saved my life. He's an extraordinary man.
You don't have to tell me that.
You know, it's kind of funny how everything turned out for the best.
How so?
Well, Neil's back home. He knows Joe's his father now, and he's starting to accept it.
Better late than never.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You should have told Joe about Neil a long time ago.
Okay, here we go again. You know, I am getting really sick of your attitude. You should be thanking me for keeping that secret.
I should thank you.
Did you ever stop to think what would have happened if I had told Joe I was pregnant 8 years ago? He left school and came to Europe looking for me. He was head over heels in love, I guarantee you. If I would have told him the truth then, I'd be Mrs. Joe Scanlon today.
You're welcome.
Have they given you a date on your review?
Yeah, early February.
We'll be ready.
Listen, are you sure you're going to be able to nail Frank Scanlon? I mean, he's kind of known for a straight arrow reputation.
Well, he won't when I'm finished with him.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better, you know, if it just turned out that he'd been using other drugs as well as DL-56?
It's funny. I've done a lot of research on the man, and nothing like that has ever turned up.
Yeah, but suppose it did. You know, hypothetically.
Well, then, hypothetically, that'd be a hell of a good thing for our case, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, who knows? A careless guy like Frank Scanlon could wind up getting caught with something.
Well, if he's gonna get careless, I sure hope it's in time for the board meeting. Let me know if you hear of anything, okay, Chris?
Darren, you'll be the first to know.
Tomorrow on Good Morning America, Bellissimo, cooking with Italian beauty Sophia Loren. Plus, women take charge of your money and anything's possible. Join Diane Sawyer and Charles Gibson tomorrow on Good Morning America.